I think it's all about being approachable and presenting yourself as approachable, whether that's simply in an informal setting like the other day at the first game of Sturt v Adelaide. Sturt unfortunately lost by 2 points. I had 5 people come to talk to me about 5 different issues, council related, not to do with the footy, just because they recognise and appreciate and felt comfortable being able to tap me on the shoulder and say, "You're Lachlan, you're the mayor. Yeah, great, okay, I want to talk to you about my neighbour's dog that's barking."
Thank you so much for joining me, Lachlan, in our next episode of Be The Drop. And it's amazing to be here in the Mayor's Parlour.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlour. It's lovely to have you here to talk about communication and how our community comes together.
That's right. And as a way of introduction, we always start with my guests introducing themselves via an item of significance.
Sure.
And I see you've got yours there. So can you explain what it is and how it connects you with your community?
So as a kid, Dad used to take me to see Sturt play, and Unley Oval was that central melting pot where the community came together. So that's why I've got this, because it doesn't just represent the past, but it represents the future and some exciting changes that will occur at Unley Oval in conjunction with Sturt Footy Club over the next few years.
So what you're talking about then in your role is really uniting that community together. How do you provide a space within, a suburb to bring community together? How do you do that?
I think the community is often chomping at the bit to want to get engaged and make things happen. So I think in them seeing council as being a facilitator for events, rather than thinking, if they have to approach council, it's just going to be wrapped up in red tape and it's going to be too hard. We have tried to slash some of that red tape to make it easier, and we are seeing some events choosing to come to Unley as a result of that.
So you mentioned that community is a heartbeat within what you're doing and your role.
Yeah.
What is it that you think you do to help facilitate it beat? What are you doing there? What's your CPR strategy?
I think it's all about being approachable and presenting yourself as approachable. The personal touch is still incredibly important today. For every demographic, you run the risk of having people being too critical and negative towards our politicians and mayors because they don't have that face-to-face interaction. And the number of people that might have seen something in the paper about a decision that council has made that are quite aggrieved by the decision, who then, in approaching you and talking to you about it and understanding what sits behind the decision, feel much more comfortable afterwards. But another important way to engage with people is when there is a report in the paper about something that's happening in council. So the Advertiser, we're one paper town, to engage with people in the comments section because people might write something and then to offer some clarification or some further information to them really adds a depth, and I think people respect that you are responding to them in that section.
And that's really interesting. And instead of expecting them to always come to you, it's then going to them where they're getting that information and giving them additional insights.
We've got this perception in the community that governments don't really care about consultation, but I think some of the decisions we've made have demonstrated to people that when they come and make their deputation, when they fill out the feedback form and when they engage with the process, we are capable as a government of listening and modifying what it is that we want to achieve to reflect what the community wants.
Thank you so much for joining me, Lachlan.
Oh, thanks, Amelia.
And in conclusion, though, you're not quite off the hook yet.
Okay.
I like to finish.
Here's the stinger.
Yeah, this is the stinger with Lachlan's Be The Drop tip. So this is your top communication tip.
Yeah. Be sincere and invest time in wanting to genuinely have a two-way conversation about an issue. So don't just put out a post as if I'm telling you this is what is happening. Try to offer, this is a problem, we want to find a solution, here's a suggested solution, but I don't know whether this is 100% the way to go.
So sincerely collaborate.
Sincerely collaborate. Actually take on board the issues that are raised when you're asking for people's opinions. And whilst they might not have got 100% of what they wanted, they also then start to see there are other people in the community that may want slightly different things to what they want. And yep, overall, we can all live with the outcome that we've arrived at.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Amelia.